They thought they planned it perfectly. 5 homes, one night. A countryside too quiet to notice. No cameras, no witnesses, no chance of getting caught. The targets were chosen carefully. Quiet villages, sleeping families, valuables left in plain sight. They moved fast, in and out, before the alarms had even finished ringing. By dawn, they were gone, leaving only footprints and broken glass behind. But behind their confidence was arrogance. They made one mistake. One so careless, so stupid, that it turned their perfect plan into their own undoing. A single act that recorded every move they made. This is the true story of the Derbyshire Dales burglary gang. 4 men who thought they were untouchable until their own arrogance wrote the evidence that sent them to prison. In the Derbyshire Dales, the nights are usually silent. The hills roll into darkness, the air sits still, and the only sounds are of wind through dry stone walls and the faint rush of a passing car. But on one April night in 2024, that peace was shattered. In just a few hours, a small group of men from Sheffield would transform the Dales' quiet villages into scenes of chaos, breaking into 5 homes, stealing cash, jewellery, keys and passports, and setting off one of the most concentrated rural burglary investigations Derbyshire had ever seen. It was Thursday, the 18th of April 2024, when it began. 5 homes, 3 villages, one night of fear. The gang came in a black Ford Focus, an unremarkable car, easy to blend in, easy to miss. But its occupants were not just passing through. Inside were 4 men: Ronnie Coleman, aged 22, Rocco Carr, 21, Brandon Hollingworth, 28, and Corey Marshall, 24. All about to make headlines. All from Sheffield. They weren't locals, but they knew where they were going. Somewhere between desperation and arrogance, they believed the dark lanes of the Dales would hide them. The first stop, Monash, a village so small that most of its roads are single track, with cottages nestled between farm gates and open fields. It was just after 10 p.m. when a homeowner there heard nothing at all, because the burglars were careful. They forced entry quietly, grabbing whatever they could: cash, jewellery, car keys, even a passport. In minutes, they were gone. No shouting, no smashing, just absence. That house would become the first of 5. Next came Bakewell, the picture postcard market town known for its famous pudding and quiet stone houses. When dawn came, residents awoke to find one home ransacked, cupboards open, drawers emptied, small valuables missing. Police would later confirm cash and jewellery among the stolen goods. At that point, no one realised the scale of what was happening. In less than an hour, the burglars were on the move again, driving the twisting country lanes that connect Bakewell to Baslow, a few miles to the north. There, in the space of one night, they hit 3 homes in the same village. At each address, the story was the same: forced entry, jewellery boxes emptied, doors left swinging open in the cold. Families who'd gone to bed safe in one of England's most peaceful counties would wake to the sight of boot prints across their floors and their possessions gone. The crimes were quick, surgical even. It was as if the gang had rehearsed the route, each stop a waypoint on a map drawn long before the night began. And then, just like that, they were gone, heading back north towards Sheffield, their Ford Focus loaded with stolen goods. For the victims, the shock was immediate. For the police, the pattern was unmistakable. Within hours, Derbyshire officers realised they weren't dealing with coincidence. 5 burglaries, one night, the same entry methods, the same stolen items. This was a coordinated spree. And crucially, all 5 crimes were logged within a narrow window of time, short enough for a single car to connect them. By the early morning of 19 April, the alert had already spread across county lines. Police units were looking for a black Ford Focus heading back towards Sheffield, a car now believed to be carrying the men responsible for all 5 burglaries. They didn't have to wait long. On Greenhill Parkway, Sheffield patrol officers spotted the Focus. When they moved in to stop it, the driver refused to pull over. What followed was a brief but dangerous pursuit through city streets and suburban roads, until police laid a stinger device, shredding the tyres and forcing the car to a stop. The 4 men inside bolted, disappearing into the night. But they didn't get far. Inside the vehicle, investigators discovered a collection of stolen property: cash, jewellery, keys, even a passport. Items reported missing from the Derbyshire homes. And there was something else, something far more incriminating. A mobile phone, dropped or left behind in the rush to escape. When forensic analysts unlocked it, they couldn't believe what they saw. On that phone were videos recorded outside of the burgled properties casing the homes before the burglaries took place. Those short clips, filmed in the dark, blurred and chaotic, would become the key to the case. The phone also contained message threads linking the suspects, discussing movements and coordinating the night's crimes. It was the kind of evidence detectives rarely get. The burglars had documented themselves. Over the following days, Derbyshire Police and South Yorkshire officers joined forces to track down the men behind the camera. Within a week, they had arrested 3 of them: Ronnie Coleman, Rocco Carr and Brandon Hollingworth. The 4th, Corey Marshall, was still at large, but he'd already left a trace behind. During the police chase that ended with the stinger, one of the men had thrown something from the car, a glove, black, ordinary and seemingly meaningless. But forensic investigators recovered it, sealed it and sent it for DNA testing. When the results came back, the DNA was a perfect match to Corey Marshall. He couldn't hide forever. Months later, the evidence was overwhelming. 5 burglaries, 5 victims, 1 car, 1 phone, 1 glove. Marshall was arrested and charged with 5 counts of burglary. He confessed to everyone. In December 2024, his 3 co-defendants, Coleman, Carr and Hollingworth, appeared at Derby Crown Court. All pleaded guilty. The judge handed down heavy sentences. Ronnie Coleman, 3 years and 7 months. Brandon Hollingworth, 4 years and 6 months. Rocco Carr, 5 years and 6 months. Finally, on 28 August 2025, Corey Marshall, aged 24, of Dearlands Avenue, Sheffield, stood in the same courtroom. He too pleaded guilty to all 5 burglaries. The judge sentenced him to 4 years and 1 month in prison. Detective Sergeant Ryan McVeigh, who led the investigation, later described the case as a perfect example of teamwork. The acquisitive crime team, the proactive team, and the roads policing unit working side by side to piece together a trail of clues. He said burglary is a terrible crime that can make victims feel very unsafe in their own home. This case shows how the evidence, and ultimately the law, will always catch up with you in the end. And he was right. Every single piece of evidence the gang left behind told their story: the stolen property, the Ford Focus, the videos, the DNA on the glove. Each thread connected until there was nowhere left to run. For the 5 victims across Monash, Bakewell and Baslow, the pain of violation lingered, the sense of safety shattered. But justice, at least, was done. In total, the 4 men received nearly 18 years in prison between them. Their crimes were fast and bold, but their capture was inevitable. It took a single glove, a few seconds of video, and a handful of messages to unravel their entire operation. The story of the Derbyshire Dales burglary gang isn't one of genius criminals or daring heists. It's the story of 4 men who thought rural meant safe, who thought the darkness of country roads could hide them. But the countryside has eyes too. And sometimes, even the quietest places can speak the loudest when justice comes calling. Tonight, the villages of Monash, Bakewell and Baslow sleep peacefully again. The lights glow softly in cottage windows, the roads are empty. And somewhere, in a box at Derbyshire Police Headquarters, that black glove and that mobile phone still sit sealed in evidence, silent witnesses to a night when greed met its match. The Derbyshire Dales are quiet again now, the homes repaired, the fear faded. But that night remains a reminder. Even the smallest mistake can bring down the boldest plan. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, take a second to support the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss the next true crime story from right here in the UK. Every click helps these stories reach more people and helps us keep uncovering the truth behind the headlines. Thanks for watching, and until next time. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next investigation.